Alright, happy Monday. We'll get started here in a few minutes. In the meantime, let's enjoy some warm background music from our friend Stephanie. Get started here in a few minutes. This will not be a long one. Hope everyone is nice, warm, and toasty during this frigid cold wave. Stepped out today for some coffee and brr. That is cold, KO. Yeah, it's we were negative 3 degrees somewhere around here, Fahrenheit here in Ohio, here in the States. So yes, it is definitely January. I was just thinking that if I was to drive to Florida, it takes about 24 hours, but that's a long drive by myself. So, oh well. Let's see who dropped in the chat. We have Sergey. Hello to us. I won't be present because it'll be too late, but as Obama said many times, yes, Linux can replace Windows. Well, alrighty then. Richard, welcome. Let's see. Bring it on, says Richard. Bring it on. Let's rock. Hello, Yugi. Yugu. Can Arch Linux replace Windows 7? I think with a few six-packs, no problem. What's up, DT? TJ Wolf, welcome. How is you? Is the background music too loud? I'll turn it down. I wanted to play something warm and inviting, so... Anyway... Let's give a quick shout out in the chat here to our friend Stephanie. You can check out her tunes. And there you go. Matthias, hello my friend. Yeah, my friend in the snow. Yes, that's about right. Yeah, Robert, it is cold. Linux can replace Windows 7. I tried some playing games and you need Windows 10, so the answer is yes. Okay. How's your friend Matthias? Everything okay? I got your message. Sorry I missed you during the private chat yesterday morning. Hope all is well in Sweden. So I am actually running this stream in Windows 10 during my self-imposed hiatus from Ubuntu. I don't think I need 30 days to tell me if I can live without Linux in Windows 10. Of course I can, but you know, I still enjoy running Ubuntu Mate. Yeah, it's faster. Updates take less time. Can Linux replace? Yes, it can. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment, KO. Let's go ahead and what are we going to do here? Let's go ahead and transition. If anybody new is watching, we are of course running Windows 10 with OBS Studio and a nice wallpaper of Florida. Anyway, you got a new dog. Had to put old dog a week ago. Oh, okay. Welcome, Kyrie. Put him down. Yeah, that's what I figured what you meant, Matthias. Sorry to hear that. When I lived in Florida, I came back, I had to put down 2 cats. Yeah, so I understand. Yeah, I don't have any pets anymore. Kind of outgrew that, I guess, in a way. But, yeah, completely understand, my friend. Completely understand. All right, let's keep the war music playing, I guess. I'm going to turn it down a notch on my end. You may not hear it, but all right. Let's go that way. Once again, thanks to our friend Stephanie for the courtesy of allowing me to play her music. Rodrigo Selenco. Hola. Hello from Brazil. Wow, awesome. How was Linux in Brazil, Rodrigo? CJ is in the house. Been trying to make a bootable Mint flash to try your next Linux version. Tried Mate on a flash drive, ISO, Cinnamon having problems. Uh-oh. Yeah, this was wallpaper from Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I needed something warm. I needed a warm picture and warm music to warm me up, so yeah. Well, it is 5 bells, so why don't we get started? As you all know, Windows 7 support ends this year, at least the freebie version. You can't continue if you want to pay for it. But this is the last year for Windows 7. I think Windows 10 Mobile, I believe, ends also, if I am not mistaken. So, companies, consumers, they have to make a decision. What are they going to do? They love their beloved Windows 7. I don't blame them. It was probably the last fun, non-controversial Windows that we will ever see in Windows 7. I don't run it anymore. I probably should have kept it, but there's only a year left of official free support, so I don't have it anymore. Windows 10 does work. I mean, I've proven it works. Some of you have. You know, with Windows 10, it's not the technology, it's the policies and the politics behind it. But Windows 10 does work. So, yeah. So what are companies going to do? Let's say they wanted to switch to Linux. Okay. Can Linux replace Windows 7? Of course it can. Maybe a better question is, will Linux replace Windows 7? Absolutely not. And we've talked about this before. Suppose ABC company wants to, you know, by the end of the year, switch to ABC Linux or any Linux. Which one do they choose? Which one do they choose? Who is going to support it? Who has the resources to support it? The time, the money, the training. Who's going to do it? Which Linux distribution do they pick? I think you see my point here. So can Linux replace Windows? Of course it can. Will it? No. I mean, how long has Linux been around now since Linus Torvalds first started it? It's been, what, 26, 27 years? And we still don't have a national Linux desktop. Now, we've talked about this. I think it's time. I think the sweet spot is $400, and I think Ubuntu would probably be a great choice. Why not? The company behind Ubuntu, they got the resource, they got the talent, they are profitable. And they do what they have to do to stay in business. They've shed the Unity desktop, they got rid of the Ubuntu mobile phone test experiment, I guess, so they are profitable. So there's no question that Linux has the potential to replace Windows. Will it? Will it replace Windows 7? Not going to happen. Not this year, maybe not in 5 years. Chromebooks is probably the only thing that we'll see close to a national Linux standard for the mom and pop consumer. You know, you can get those for as little as $200. Of course, you want a Pixelbook, you'll pay more. So the question remains, the question that I've answered rather, can Linux replace Windows 7? Yes. Will it? Forget about it. Not going to happen. Now, as far as the Windows mobile phone, that's gone. A true Linux phone, a pure Linux phone, I've been hearing about this for years. Ubuntu tried back in 2012, 13. Nothing happened. So I'll believe it when I see it. but the potential is there for a Linux desktop. I think consumers are begging for an alternative to what they have now. That's not priced at, $1,000, $1,500, or $2,000. We already have that. It's called Apple. We don't need another Apple. So yeah, if something was going to happen, it takes years to get all the resources in place, the time, the training, the money, the marketing, the commercials. It takes years to get this in place before any company can say, okay, we're switching. We will replace whatever Windows we have to ABC Linux. I don't see it happening. I think Ubuntu probably is a good choice. Of course, Linux dominates on the servers worldwide, supercomputers, and that's awesome. But for a little company, for mom and pop, they don't care. They just want to walk into their store, walk into Best Buy, or go on Amazon, spend about $400, maybe buy 1-2 computers, and be done with it. And they just want their computer to work. And we haven't seen that yet. The market is there. We've talked about it. I've been pushing Linux since, 2010, 9 years, until I'm blue in the face. It's not happening. So whatever market forces there are, conspiring to prevent it, apparently it's still happening. But Chromebooks proves that we can have a Linux standard that just works. It just works, and it doesn't have to cost $1,000. So those are my thoughts about Linux replacing Windows 7. Let's go back into your comments here. Red Robo, hello. You don't want Linux to replace Windows. To do that, it must become like Windows, including many of the negative aspects. Okay. This year there is a Linux phone. Well, Lamer, it's been announced. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. So I don't know about that. You installed Fedora 29, Linux user? Wow, okay. Think of all the IT that could be without work, not needing to support Windows. Well, they can be, retrained to support Linux. That should not be a problem. Matthias, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Here I am running this in Windows 10 and it works, but I enjoy Ubuntu more. It runs faster. Updates are faster. How do we get this desktop to market? How do we get all the resources in place? You guys know what I mean. So, right now, the Linux desktop, for the most part, is primarily just for geeks. With 2% market share, 2% Linux desktop market share. That's, I think my mom's homemade bread has more market share than Linux right now. So, you want to post a link, Lamer? Okay. Alright, go ahead. I think the goal for Linux should be to become a strong secondary option for those who care about privacy and freedom. Take over the number 2 spot from Apple on the desktop. I could live with that. Red Robo, I could certainly live with that. But if a company is going to go full steam, why play to be number 2? Why not play to win? Why not play to win? So yeah. Sneaky Linux is in the house. Silent Robot, the robot, you have to remember that 99% of the population are generally computer illiterate. I don't know about 99%. They know how to do basic things, but are not concerned with the OS enough to be able to make. I think right now there are plenty of channels like myself, YouTube, or plenty of personalities on the web to eliminate that problem. I don't think that is any longer a problem. The problem is, where can they walk into a store to buy Linux desktop? That's the problem. The market exists. But where are they going to buy it? Sammy says people are still... Well, maybe some. Let's see. So, Sneaky, what's new? Play to Win, fantastic track from back in the day. Okay. I'll take a look at the link later, Lamer. Thank you. Let's see. All kinds of things. Linux on this can never replace anything. Don't let lying Linux fanboys tell you otherwise. Yes, all kinds of things. Welcome to the stream. He's a preacher at my local church. He's very humble and loving. Let us pray. Well, Linux has replaced servers, my friend. Yeah. What about Android phones? That's Linux. Yeah. So it could be done. How are you finding going back to the devil going, mate? Well, Sneaky, you know what? It works. But I miss my Ubuntu Mate. Windows 10 works. It's a little slow. Updates I don't like. But you know what? It works. It just works. I don't think I'm going to stay away from Ubuntu Mate for 30 days. I think this will be my 2-week test versus 1 month. Sneaky, and I'll be done. Not because I don't like Windows 10, but I'm perfectly happy with Ubuntu Mate, so yes. There was too much incorrect information among the Windows users. You need to know those console commands. You no longer need to know the terminal console command stuff. It wouldn't hurt to learn, but a lot has changed in 10 years, so yeah, I mean, that's certainly a myth that we could talk about on a future topic. That is true, Sammy. Some people just don't get it. I agree. Hello, Carbon. How are you? I'll be surprised if any company switches to full-blown Linux. Yep, Windows 10 is good for multimedia. I agree, so is Apple. How you doing, Carbon? You're running Windows 10 and VM, have to because of college, taking a business computer class, Microsoft Office. Okay, very well, very good. You have been with Mate for a long time now. I take this will be your daily driver in Linux forever. Don't know about forever, Sneaky, but it just works. It's simple. You know, it's customizable to make it, you know, look any way I want to. It just works, Sneaky, and there's no substitute for stability. I don't care what you use, you know, what anybody uses, but there just is no substitute for stability. So yeah, you know, Windows 10 will be my backup. There's really nothing in Windows that I can't do in Linux. Maybe 4K editing. That might be a problem in Linux, but my machine won't handle 4K anyway. The best I can do is 1080p, so that's more an issue of the hardware. Do I know linear algebra, Boolean theory, mathematical logic? No, I was not a math person. I was the opposite. I was the... what is it? Left brain, right brain thingy. Hi, Switch. Yes, happy Tundra time. I wish I drove a Tundra, Switch. I wish I drove a Toyota Tundra. I'm here. I'm home. It's cold. I did the shoveling today, and yeah. I feel sorry. One of my friends, she's flying back to Austria at the end of the week, and I guess it's pretty cold over there. Kden Live can do 4K video. You just need to enable proxy clips. Okay. Yeah, that and a good hefty machine, i7 with 32 gigs of RAM, it should be in good shape. Yep. There's always the tool for the job. For some, it's a variant. Let's see here. Linux distro. For some, it's Windows or Mac. Okay. I agree, Sammy. In some distributions, you do not have to use the terminal. Welcome, my cat. Learn more in school or on the streets. About a 50-50. Yeah. Sneaky says a bit like me. Really, Ubuntu that's your workhorse. 4K Caden Live does it no problem. Okay, Sneaky, that's good to hear. Yeah, I did some research. You really need a hefty machine. 32 gigs of RAM should be enough from what I saw. English Bob streaming in 4K and of course a good internet service. Absolutely. Yeah. You learn more in school or online than on the streets. Well, Carbon, if you're talking about specifics, like technology, I agree. If you're talking about life, I learned a lot from the streets. There is no substitute for it. I don't recommend it. But I grew up in Brooklyn, spent a lot of time on the streets, as it were, because back then we had no computers, no cell phones, no tablets. It was a different time when I was a kid. Sneaky says you can get away with 16 gig, but as long as the clips are not too long. 4K, you mean with 4K? Yes, Sneaky, that is true. But realistically, if someone's doing 4K, they probably don't want to be, you know, hindered in any way. So go with 32 gigs of RAM and will not be a... Jan Topper, how are you? Welcome. Your dad has a Mac and a Windows 10. I told him he should use Linux on his Windows PC. Good luck. Kyrie, you're street smart. Very good. I took algebra, I took geometry, I took statistics. I kind of liked the statistics way back when, over 20 years ago, as far as math goes, but yeah. The streets was East London for you, Sneaky? You have to be street savvy. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you probably won't see too much Linux talk on the streets. Yeah. Linux is not usable for professional video editing. That may be true for some Linux distributions. I think if you're lucky enough to find the right distro that matches the hardware, that has no compatibility problems, it's certainly possible. I've done it. However, it might be hard, it might be difficult to find the right Linux. Well, thank you for stopping in to say hi, Jan. Welcome. You converted your tech on Savvy to Linux Smith over the Christmas holiday, and finally she's able to use her computer. So I'd say it's absolutely possible to use one to replace the other. Okay. Here's a thing in today's real world. Any person who is not doing multimedia applications, such myself, okay, which I do, but let's say someone who is the opposite of what I do, no problem with Linux. Pick almost any Linux, learn a few things about it, go online, check your emails, and you're done. Where Linux tends to fail somewhat is multimedia applications. Video editing, audio editing, and all that stuff. Graphics drivers. That's where it can get a little bit dicey. Putting that aside, should not be a problem. Hello, Heather. Welcome. Yeah, Hollywood does use Linux for video, but they buy specific, they're probably buying specific hardware, Matthias, to use with specific Linux, and that probably runs maybe to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's not feasible for the mom and pop person, yeah. He'll make me, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse, Toss. Okay. Yeah, thank you. You converted to Linux because of the privacy problems. Windows 10. Fair enough. Fair enough. Linux wins big time when it comes to science. Okay, Ben's gonna get Ben. I had pizza today for dinner, like an hour ago, and it was yummy. All kinds of things says you are at least a little bit honest. Well, look, I am a Windows user. I still am. Was and is. So I understand why people can be frustrated with Linux. There's a lot of choices when it comes to Linux, and only really a handful are really good as a daily driver. I get it. Been there, done that. But some of it is good. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, if Linux wasn't good, I would not be using it. Heather says, had to bring up food. Well, it is dinner time. It's 5:19 here locally, right? Bob Roby, good evening. Anyone that is not used to Adobe Premiere, or at least playing AAA games, could switch to Linux. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for any company to replace Windows with Linux, the infrastructure has to be in place. The support infrastructure has to be in place, and right now it's just not there. Canonical with Ubuntu comes close because the company is profitable and they have the talent. Yeah, there are companies, Hollywood, they are using Linux for professional use because they got the resources to buy the hardware to match the software. So yes, it's just not something you would see, you know, in somebody's home. Yep, Lightworks and DaVinci is pretty good. Still struggling to get the Dell GPU working. Well, again, that's one of the problems with Linux. Linux can be predictably unpredictable in various hardware. So yeah, that's why I stopped distro hopping. You know, once I picked, you know, a handful of Linux operating systems that work, stop, because all I was doing was distro hopping from bugs to bugs, and it was silly. It just didn't make sense to waste all that time. So, hello Peabody. You game on Steam, don't really need Windows. Okay. You got tired of the update and reboot process. I hear ya. You like MX18. See, but here's the thing, Peabody. If I'm the CEO of a company, okay, I'm going to switch to Linux. Which one? MX18, Linux Mint, Ubuntu. Wait, Arch? Jeez, I'll forget about it. You see where the problem lies? It's fragmentation. Yeah. I think depends if you are a consumer or a user. Yeah, Sneaky, yeah. Any consumer who is not a multimedia content creator, sure. Yeah. I mean, even Chromebooks can do, you know, multimedia content. The higher end Chromebooks. Windows users would like Kubuntu, maybe. Yes, Sneaky, a creator, yes. Yeah. I know what you meant, yeah. So I think we've answered the question. Linux has the potential to replace anything, but will it? No. Not going to happen. Except on supercomputers, servers, fine. Yeah. The Bumblebee driver, Ben, I do not know. Yeah. That I do not know, my friend. Yes, the newer Chromebooks, the higher end ones, will be able to use Linux apps. That is true. Yeah, Pixelbooks have had the capability for a while now, at least in beta. Sammy needs his beauty sleep. Yes, darling, go to bed. Thank you for stopping by, Sammy. Yes, thanks. Also, apologies to everyone who missed the yesterday morning's private stream that I did for the patron supporters. It's tough to pick perfect time. I don't do this full time, so but that's a topic for another time, you know. Most Windows users don't know Linux exists. I think that's changing, John. I think that is changing. Yeah, that's what I am here for, what we're here for. Alright, go ahead, Silent. Peabody, you're a noob 2 years in. Try to stick with the simple distros. Just surf the web and game. Very good. Nothing wrong with that either, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. See, Linux has 2% market share. So, you know, companies just probably don't care right now because they just don't see the profit in it. You know, the non-existent, almost non-existent profit in Linux. You know. All right, Sneaky. The strength of Linux, the strength of the Linux desktop is not in the desktop. It's in the community. Communities. That's where the strength is at. That's where the, you know, the passion, the phenomena, if you will, is at. That's where it's at. And there's probably no other community like it in terms of technology. So I think if any venture is going to succeed, you know, if any channel or anything like that is going to succeed, it's going to be because of the communities, in my opinion. All right, so I'm going to probably wrap this up here in about 5 minutes. And then we'll call it a night. I still use Linux, just happen to be Windows 10. Probably this will be the last week for it, Carbon. I'm going back to Ubuntu. All right, Sneaky, take care. Catch you later. Does anybody here use Windows 7? Either as a dual boot or just by itself? Dave Jones, hello. You keep trying Linux, but there's always something you can't do. Next day, Windows is back on. All right, fair enough. That can happen. Totally understand. Dave, have you looked at Chromebooks? Just out of curiosity. Can he I'll use the Windows 7 as a dual boot. Nice. Yeah. Well, this is the last year of support. Jan said time to time VM for some old software. Okay. That's understandable, sure. Turn up the volume. You like the song Skeletons? All right, here we go. Those graphics drivers. That's a cool song. Linux skeletons in our closets, right? Company in the UK just brought out a all-in-one desktop with Ubuntu installed on it. Okay. Very good. All right, good evening, y'all. Thank you for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Looks like some of you love your Windows 7, and I don't blame you. Alright, when this song is done, I'm going to wrap this up for this evening. Once again, the background music courtesy of our friend Stephanie Forian. You can check her out on YouTube and check out her website. Awesome talent. New Hampshire, -19. Ouch. Oh. All right, Peabody. Laundry is done. Time for a cold one. Yeah, we definitely have a cold one here, Peabody. I hear ya. Take care. You have a good evening too, Heather. Alright, so I'll be on again probably sometime this weekend. I'm going to try and do something for our UK friends. Keep missing the chat, so. Alright, Lamer. If we have any newbies watching, this is your chance to say hello or ask a question before I wrap this up. Don't be shy. Take it easy, John. Peace. Stay warm. Well, let Stephanie take us out, then I'll say goodbye. Hot tea, I may actually have to do that. Client, yeah. I know, Joel is certainly entertaining character, Kenny, yeah. Yeah. I know. Well, thank you. Give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate it as always. If you would like to support the channel and join me on the next private chat, just join me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and you'll be invited. Yeah, for a private chat. Thanks again, John. Yes. Let's see if I can get a hold of Alan Pope from Ubuntu for another chat. Maybe this weekend I'll have a special guest on that we have not had on before. I think that should be fun. Alright guys and ladies, have a good one. Stay warm. Be safe out there if you drive in this kind of weather, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.